Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our evening Shabbat class. End of the Shabbat, the 20th of May, 2023. What I'll be dealing with, the topic for discussion will be Elon Musk and this robotic or wife he's supposed to have. They introduced on YouTube. Okay, so with that being said, um, we're asking everybody to go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. It's a lot of information given, and the videos will connect dots for you and lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. If you like what you're hearing and receiving on the channel and through the videos, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Okay. For those that don't know about the channel, it's a non-messianic channel, right? And that by that I mean, well, we only deal with the Old Testament, which is Tanakh, the so-called Book of Remembrance, and along with that, the Torah, which is the first five books of the Old Testament, the books of the law that was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our evening Shabbat class. We're going to do our normal routine, which is a moment of silence. We're going to do a Sabbath prayer, evening Sabbath prayer, Psalms, do some current events, some need to know information, and then we'll open it up for questions, comments, and dialogue. Then we'll deal with the discussion, which is this robotic wife that Elon Musk presented to the world. So with that being said, I wanted to say this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these final hours of this age, okay? O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongs unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David, Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For you possess the power to turn us, O Lord. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony and your statutes with all our heart and soul, and to perform the words of this covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord. Hide not thy face from us, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay? We're going to read the Psalms right quick. We're going to be on it for about an hour. Okay? Psalms. So I'm going to read Psalm 77. It's a song of Asaph, David's chief musician. It's Psalm 77. Who is so great a God as our God? I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God even unto God with my voice, and He gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. My soul ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. Excuse me. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained, and my spirit was overwhelmed. Selah, thou holdest my eyes waking. I am so troubled that I cannot speak. I have considered the days of old, the years of ancient time. I call to remembrance my song in the night. I commune with mine own heart, and my spirit made diligent search. Will the Lord cast off forever, and will he be favorable no more? In his mercy, clean gone forever. Is his mercy clean gone forever? Doeth his promise fail forevermore? Have God forgotten? to be gracious. Have he in his anger shed up his tender mercies? Selah. And I said, this is my infirmity, but I will remember the years of the right hand of the Most High. I will remember the works of the Lord. Surely I will remember thy wonders of old. I will meditate also of all thy works, and talk of thy doings. Thy way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God? Thou art the God that doeth wonders. Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou hast with thine arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. Selah, the, the waters saw thee, O God, and the waters saw thee. They were afraid, and the depths also were troubled. The clouds poured out water. The sky sent out a sound, and arrows also went abroad. The, the voice of the thunder was in the heavens. The lightning lightened the world. The earth trembled and shook. Thy way is in the sea, and thy path is in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. Okay, any comments on that? Okay, so let's look at this because I'm going to start with verse 14. It says, "Thou art the God." That we're going to see what this is. Thou art the God that doeth wonders, right? Thou hast declared thy strength among the people. Thou hast with thine arm redeemed thy people, the sons of Jacob and Joseph. That's the southern and the northern and southern kingdom. Then 16, the waters saw thee, O God. The waters saw thee. They were afraid. The depths also were troubled. So let's look at that. Go back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. You'll see what this is. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, Yahweh. Then verse 2, the earth was without form and void. Darkness was upon the face of the deep. And this who's moving the water. This who's dealing and controlling the water. And Spirit of God, it's the angel of God, moved upon the face of the waters. So this who's dealing with the waters right here. Yahweh is in the heavens, but this angel, the angel of the Lord, is moving upon the waters, right? So let's go back and read it again. 77 and 16. The waters saw thee, and O God, the waters saw thee. They were afraid, and the depths also were troubled. This when he dealt with the Nile River, but particularly when he dealt with the Red Sea and part of the Red Sea. We'll see that in a minute. So 17, the clouds poured out waters. The sky sent out a sound, and the arrows also went abroad. The voice of the thunder was in the heavens. The lightning and the world of the earth trembled and shook. This during the flood. 19, thy way is in the sea, and thy path is in the great waters, and thy footsteps are not known. Now here we go. Thou leddest thy people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. So we know who it is from Ezekiel, from Exodus 23 and 20, who was leading Israel. The Lord of hosts. Okay. Any comments on that? Okay. So we'll go on to our current event.
Hello and welcome. You are watching Gravitas Plus. I am Molly Kampir. What comes to your mind when you hear United States of America? Big Bang, science fiction movie, state-of-the-art building, gun terror, racism, or drugs. But one word that rarely crosses our minds immediately is debt. You know, the money that countries borrow to improve their growth. Do you know how America ranks when it comes to debt? Well, it comes right on top. No kidding here. Have a look at the numbers. In terms of raw dollars, the country with the highest debt in the world is unquestionably the United States of America. It has a total national debt of
Wrong.
$31 trillion. That's about $94,175 for every single
Wrong.
American citizen. And who does America owe all that money to? A host of parties, banks, investors, pension funds, insurance companies, foreign investors, also foreign governments. Yes, America owes a large amount of its debt to other countries. And which countries are these? Well, nearly half of all US foreign owned debt comes from five countries, that's Japan, China, the UK, Belgium, and Luxembourg. And if we break them down into numbers, the US owes over $1,000 billion to Japan. That's around 14.88% of its foreign debt. China ranks second. It accounts for $870 billion or 11.96% of America's foreign owned debt. The UK, meanwhile, accounts for $645 billion or 8.88% of America's foreign owned debt. Belgium accounts for $332 billion, Luxembourg accounting for $312.9 billion of America's foreign owned debt. And besides them, America also owes money to Brazil, Switzerland, Germany, Ireland, Singapore, South Korea, and India. Have a look at this report. America owes India over $216 billion in loans. Yes, it has the audacity to preach India on what's right and what isn't, supposedly. My point is simple. For a country that boasts of being the most powerful economy in the world, a country that calls itself a leading financial powerhouse, owing so much money to foreign governments that either tries to preach or fight or control, is embarrassing to say the least. It treats the UK as its right hand, but owes over $645 billion to London. And it issues lectures of morality to India, but owes $216 billion to New Delhi. And what explains this? Why is Washington in debt to these countries? Because of a concept called treasury. Let me explain this to you. The US government finances the operations of its different federal agencies by issuing treasury securities or treasuries. These are basically debt obligations that are divided into three categories: treasury bills, treasury bonds, and treasury notes. And all of them can be directly purchased from the US government or through a bank or broker. And who can buy these treasuries? Anybody, from investors to banks to foreign governments. They can all cash in on these bonds when they reach maturity. And why have they bought this debt? Well, one of the main reasons why foreign investors buy US Treasury securities is that they are one of the most secure assets in the world. Holding them can be advantageous because it is a widely accepted currency in international trade and transactions. They also offer a higher rate of return as compared to other government bonds available worldwide. But that said, investing in US Treasuries is also a deliberate strategy for some countries. China has been using these bonds to keep the yuan weaker than the US dollar so that it can benefit from low import prices. In fact, some analysts and investors fear that China could dump these treasuries in retaliation and that this weaponization of its holdings would send interest rates higher, potentially hurting America's economic interests. All said and done, the biggest question here is, why is America's national debt so high? Well, this is the result of simple mathematics. Each year, there is a mismatch between America's revenues and the money that it spends. In other words, the American government spends more than it takes in or earns. And why is that happening? There are a host of reasons for this. The first is demographics. You see, America is undergoing significant demographic change. The society is aging as the large baby boom generation begins to retire, and reports say over 10,000 people will turn 65 by 2030. every day till 2029. Moreover, people are expected to live longer on average. That is great news, but it means that America must also pay for the financial needs of longer retirement. And these huge demographic trends put increasing pressure on the federal budget, and in particular on vital programs that serve older and vulnerable Americans, like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid.
Have you heard of the powerful method to achieve what?
Is rising healthcare costs. In many ways, healthcare is the most important issue for America's fiscal and economic future. It represents nearly 1/5 of America's entire economy, and it is the second fastest growing part of the budget. That said, America does not really get what it pays for. It spends over twice as much on healthcare as other advanced countries. This spending is projected to rise by 68% over the next decade and will exceed all other categories of federal spending in 2030. But the services it provides are not paid for in their entirety by the people. And this leaves the healthcare sector with a significant debt. The third driving factor behind America's debt burden is inadequate revenue. The US tax system, you see, does not generate enough revenues to cover the spending policymakers have enacted. And this rapidly growing imbalance between the revenues and the spending leads to higher and higher annual deficits. And the result is an increasing national debt.
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? So when I look at that, it takes me back to Psalms 37, where over and over again, I think it's like in 3 or 4 different places in Psalms 37 that he tell you to fret not because of your enemies or because of evildoers, because he said they'll soon be cut down. So this is a prime example right here. Everything she's saying, there's no way that they get America, and we know they passed and all the atrocities they didn't committed, especially against the Most High people, but other people too, he bringing them down. So to sit around and talk about what they done and how they done it and all that, it's just terror. In Psalm 37, wait not. He said they'll soon become cut down like the green bay tree. You look for them, and then you can't find them. That's when you sit back and let him do it. Like I said, just how to do it. They think these international bankers, they go all the way back to time and immemorial, back to the Knights Templar. And they thought they had a foolproof plan, but we see that he's bringing them down. He's 10 times the banker than they'll ever be. So he's using their own strategies and the systems that he created to against them. That's what we're looking at. This place has no other way but to go down, just based on the situation she just presented. It's going down. There ain't no but a matter of time. Okay. Got one more. Okay.
Anxiety is mounting over whether or not US politicians will be able to put their considerable differences aside and agree on a deal to raise the debt ceiling. This would allow the government to begin borrowing again, rather than using its checking account at the Federal Reserve to pay for the day-to-day running of the country. And the clock is ticking louder and louder, because Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has said that checking account will run out of money by the 1st of June, which is now a little over a fortnight away. There's no shortage of dire warnings out there about what would happen if this debt ceiling deal isn't agreed in time. TLDR, we're talking financial carnage on a 2008 scale.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
Yellen has been at pains to point this out, and she's correct. It's not a scenario anyone in their right minds wants to see play out. However, she's wrong about one thing, and that relates to the US government defaulting on its debts if a deal isn't agreed. Now, the last time the debt ceiling needed raising was back in 2021. It's been raised 74 times since 1962. And as the deadline approached, Yellen penned a warning in the pages of the Wall Street Journal, in which she said, quote, "The US has always paid its bills on time, but the overwhelming consensus among economists and Treasury officials of both parties is that failing to raise the debt limit would produce widespread economic catastrophe." Now, she's right on that second bit about economic catastrophe, but that first claim is a little shakier. Yes, US government debt in the form of Treasury bonds is generally considered to be the safest kind of debt to hold, but the US has in fact defaulted on its debt obligations in the past, and not just once, but 4 times. Now, this was pointed out to me by fellow YouTuber and all-round fount of knowledge Ben Cowan during a recent live stream we did. Now, I was intrigued because this line of how the US government has never reneged on its debt obligations has been trotted out a lot recently. So I decided to find out what instances Ben was talking about. And for your delectation, here they are. Now, the first default came way back in 1862 amid the carnage of the US Civil War. Like all wars, this particular dust-up was costing a heck of a lot of money. The government in Washington had issued so-called demand notes, which promised to pay the bearer a stated amount, classic paper money, in other words. These became known as greenbacks because, well, the backs of them were printed in green ink. These were supposed to be redeemable for gold, but at times when the war wasn't going so well for the Union, banks became unwilling to exchange them for their supposed full value. That is a technical default right there. Okay, sure, mitigating circumstances, Civil War and all that, but still. Now, Uncle Sam was as good as his word for the next 70-odd years, until 1933 and the brouhaha over gold bonds. Up until that point, if you held US gold bonds, you could redeem them for gold coins whenever you wished. But good old FDR wasn't a fan of US citizens holding gold because it was tying up much needed liquidity that he wanted to use to stimulate the economy, then in the midst of the Great Depression. So, with Executive Order 6102, he made holding gold illegal, and holders of either the physical stuff or the aforementioned bonds were obliged to turn their stashes over to the Fed in return for paper money, $20.67 an ounce, to be exact. As you can imagine, many Americans were none too happy about this, and it ended up in front of the Supreme Court, which eventually ruled in the government's favor. The consensus now is that this was indeed a default, but most probably a very necessary one. Still counts though. Then, a mere 35 years later, in 1968, the government was up to its tricks once again, this time with silver. It had issued a whole bunch of silver certificates, upon which were written a promise to pay the bearer $1 silver upon demand. Problem was, there was quite a lot of demand for these silver dollars, mostly from investors and collectors. The coins were expensive to produce, and there was a shortage of the actual metal itself. Some in government were also worried that the silver certificates and the coins themselves might encourage hoarding and speculation. Even before the dawn of the fiat money age, it seems governments still hated the idea of their citizens saving rather than spending. So, the US government simply refused to honor the promise made on these silver certificates. The House of Representatives passed a bill to end the issuance of the certificates in 1963, and the redemption period ended in 1968. Another technical default right there. Sorry to interrupt you folks, but I have to let you know about the Coin Bureau deals page. Now, my team and I have been able to pull together some of the best to the video. Now, if these first 3 defaults by Uncle Sam are unfamiliar, I don't really blame you. Apart from FDR's executive order over gold, they're generally little more than footnotes in history. But this last default was a genuinely seismic event, the consequences of which we still live with today. In 1971, faced with runaway inflation, a trade deficit, and the ruinous cost of the Vietnam War, President Richard Nixon took a fateful step and announced the end of the gold standard. In 1944, as World War II was beginning to draw to a close, an agreement had been signed at Bretton Woods in New Hampshire that all national currencies would be redeemable for US dollars, which in turn would be redeemable for gold at $35 an ounce. The US had the largest gold reserves in the world, thanks in large part to its efforts in supplying its allies with material to fight the war. Now, Nixon had this to say.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
And note the use of the word temporarily. Like a lot of things Nixon said, that wasn't true. This moment, now remembered as the Nixon shock, marked the beginning of the era of fiat money, money not backed by any reserve asset printed at the whim of the government. Once again, the United States had found it expedient not to honor its debt obligations. And well, who wants to stand up to Uncle Sam and tell him he can't do what he likes?
I'm going to bomb the shit out of him. It's true. I don't care.
Nope, me neither. So, Janet Yellen is mistaken when she says the US government always honors its obligations. However, the likelihood of it defaulting this time around is small, but that doesn't mean we can all relax and breathe easy. As the days without a debt ceiling deal tick by and Yellen's June deadline approaches, markets are going to get more and more jittery. Yes, Congress always votes to raise the debt ceiling eventually and begin adding yet more to the $31 trillion plus of debt that the US has outstanding. Even though the polarization of American politics becomes more pronounced with every passing day, it's unlikely that those warring politicians on Capitol Hill will allow the US, and by extension the world economy, to go into meltdown over something which has become almost routine in the last few decades. But that's not to say this whole episode can't cause immense damage, even with a deal agreed. Back in 2011, an agreement went right to the wire before the government was able to begin issuing bonds again. But stocks still tanked by 17% in the aftermath, while the US's credit rating was downgraded for the first time in history. So the next fortnight is going to be critical as the edge of the precipice gets ever nearer and the markets begin to get frightened.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Well, that's a lot to take in.
Okay. You got any comments on it?
Well,
Shalom.
shalom. Sorry. No, I'm still taking it in.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Shalom. I'm sorry. I never knew that the United States defaulted. I knew
Exactly.
during the stock market,
Right.
but I didn't know that, and I didn't know that.
Right. So that's another lie. They like you were saying, they're saying they're making it like they been on point all this time, but the guy just revealed 4 different occasions they defaulted they defaulted on their debt payments. They just backdoored it, like with the last one with the Richard Nixon. All they did was started printing money right at the time when it was time for them to pay their debt. They went from the gold standard and start printing money. That bypassed them paying their debt. And that's the thing about understanding that these people's history of banking, which is against the Most High's laws, statutes, and judgments. A bank is an abomination sitting inside in a city or a town anywhere, because it's usury. It's predicated off of usury, which is a no-no when you're dealing with the Creator and the laws that He gave us. Okay, so we got some need to know information. Right here. Okay.
Want you to pick a side, and most of the time it's always their side. Most recently, we are seeing Russia invaded Ukraine now. All factors constant. Countries have the privilege and the right to say either we stay neutral or we are with Ukraine or Russia, and we are aligning the interests of our country, our people, to this country. But no, that's not how it works. The West says we're supporting Ukraine, and everybody has to support Ukraine, failure to which you're a warmonger, you're a terrorist, you're a bad country, just like Russia, and they can't wait to impose sanctions on you and threaten you on how they'll not do business with you and how you pay for your choices in the near future. But South Africa is not having any of it. South Africa is saying, Russia is our friend, they've not done anything to us, and if you have a problem, take it up with NATO. Don't bring it here.
The Russian foreign minister came. He was at home here. This is home, really. Russians have not done anything wrong to anyone. You have a problem, go and talk to NATO. It is the one that provoked Russia, and Russia, it is well within its right to defend itself.
Know that those who support Ukraine want every other country to take their side on the issue. We have chosen that we do not take sides. We encourage settlement and negotiation. We don't wish to become party to the conflict by choosing sides.
Hi guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to another session. My name is Indira Ganga. I am a business journalist by profession, and I enjoy coming out here talking about matters Africans, Black people, empowerment, and how we can rise up and take up coming, whether one trigger the other or the other trigger the other. All fact is constant. Russia has currently invaded Ukraine, and there's heavy fighting going on, and there have been international efforts to try and bring these two countries to the table to have a conversation and resolve the conflict amicably, because if we look at it from a human point of view, women are suffering, children are suffering, young men are dying in the battlefront, people that would have had their whole life ahead of them. I follow a lot of figure skating, and young men in figure skating are signing up to go fight. This could have been fine organization. They're giving weapons to Ukraine, they're giving them money, they publicly come out and support them, and they've condemned the actions of Russia. That is within your democratic right. The problem comes in when any other person dares to make a decision to support a country that is not supported by the West. Now, this is not to say that these countries say, yeah, Russia, go, 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 kill everybody in Ukraine. No, these guys are saying, we're not going to.
Okay, so the gist of this video right here is about now all of a sudden the United States trying to pressure these African countries into supporting Ukraine like they doing, and they saying no. This well the information that I've been playing over the last couple of weeks, especially this morning, where the pushback coming. It ain't gonna end up good, but they're trying to make these African countries support Ukraine, and they saying no. That's why the guy was talking like he was talking this morning about, you know, if you don't behave, you're gonna have to use force, because they're trying to come in and bully these African countries to go against Russia and side with them on Ukraine, and they saying no. Okay. Any comments on that? Okay. So with that being said, we'll open up for some questions or comments, or anybody have any dialogue they want to talk about. Put it on the table before we go into the discussion. Anything you heard you want to deal with? Okay, everybody good? So we go into this topic of discussion, which is talking about AI and Elon Musk. I don't know if anybody's seen it on YouTube or some venue or whatever, but he's created this robotic woman, and they've been showing different versions of as a black, whether black woman. They're showing her as a redhead, showing Elon Musk dancing with her. So let's check out the video.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So now the world is getting more and more strange. Not only is it getting more and more strange, the things that we see and hear are getting more and more ridiculous, more and more unbelievable, and more unreliable. So we look at the images on the screen here. We look at the title here. Elon Musk and the robot wife is a game changer. But, is this actually real? This is why I say more and more unreliable. The internet has been flooded with so much information, both true and false, that from one day to the next, you don't know what to believe. You don't know what is true, what is fake, what is staged, what is real. So apparently these images of Elon Musk are not real. Well, when you look at this, it's not unbelievable, is it? When it says Elon Musk and the robot wife is a game changer, it doesn't look like it's unbelievable because Elon Musk and so many others are deeply into AI, artificial intelligence. He has created so many different things. In the age of AI, he is, I'm not going to say leading the charge, but he's up there with all of those who are leading the charge. So many of them are leading the charge together. Money-wise, some people will say that he is leading the charge if you look at the money, but before Elon Musk, there was already AI in the works. So, that being said, the images on the screen, they look so very real. But it has been said that these images are not real and that they are generated by AI. But because of how real they look, because of how real a lot of things are looking, what's happening here is that you cannot tell the real from the fake these days. But this particular story is not difficult to believe, because there are those who have these wife-like, non-real, inanimate creatures that they've created with their own hands. I want to show you something here. Okay, this woman right here, this is her YouTube channel. I'm just going to lift it up a bit here. She is pointing out some very real things. She says these AI photos are not Tesla's new robot wife, okay? No, Elon Musk is not building a robot wife. This is her breakdown. You can listen at her breakdown. Now, of course, that's not to say that it's not something for the future. We don't know that, but certainly not now for what she is saying. She's pointed out that these deep fake, not necessarily deep fake, because deep fake is another totally different type of operation that's going on where a lot of people are being deceived by a lot of different things. Okay, so some things that are pointed out here. She's pointing out some interesting facts about these. As a matter of fact, I don't want to play the video. She's pointing out some very interesting facts about the images and some of the things seen in the images. She's pointing out some things with the hands, the formations. She's showing how these fakes were presented with the fingers and just a number of different things. And she also shows how some of these fake images were also generated by someone very talented, because Elon Musk is not the only one. See right there, she's pointing out how the hands, these are definitely not the hands of a robot. The technology has not gotten that far as of yet. She's pointing out other things as well, how they made this image of the Pope, right? So this was an AI-generated image as well. And she pointed out some other images with Mark Zuckerberg as well that were also created fakes, okay? So in the age of the internet, we have got to be very careful. I mean, it's very difficult sometimes, family, because things are being thrown out there so fast, and many are spreading this. We here on YouTube and so many other platforms, we get these stories that come across our feed. And so now it's saying we are going to have to be very careful and selective with what we accept, what we talk about, because things are getting more and more deep. Okay, far-fetched idea, although it's not there yet. It's not far-fetched because people have explored other avenues that are similar to this, albeit it's not robots. So we've got to be very careful with the sharing and the spreading of information, because this stuff is getting out of hand and is very tripped out. A lot of people went on, they took it a step further. As a matter of fact, it was being made to be so believable. Let me show you this here. That people were writing about it, in detail. Okay. They said Elon Musk and his company are in the final stages of making a robot woman called Robot Wife. Robot Wife purchases should be available in September 2023. They will reach Africa by November 2023. Now that part right there just grabbed me right away. Africa, most of the people in Africa are not trying to get involved in this. And I'm not saying that there are none, but most of the people on the continent of Africa are not trying to get involved in this type of foolishness. So that part really grabbed me, right?
Okay. Anybody seen any of this information on the internet? Came across it?
Shalom. No,
Okay. Anybody got any comments on it?
I think that, Shalom, I think that they always do something and make sure they have it perfected before they actually put it out there for social media. So if they have already perfected and they want to see how people gravitate to it, then they'll say it's false, and just to see the comeback on what's going on, how people feel about it.
Right. My observation of it is, look at what they've done with JC. They got the whole world believing that. So why would it be so difficult in 2023 with AI technology that they can't create this robot woman? That's the way I see it. They got everybody believing it. This right here, you can see the robot woman, but JC, they just, like you said, they just wrote it down. You say it, and you got the whole world duped on that. This actually something it's tangible. You can put your hands on and see it. So I'm not understanding why, it's not saying that it's not, it's computer generated. It's not making sense to me. I got anybody got a comment?
Can you give me the name of that video?
It's Elon Musk, Robot Wife. It's a game changer.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we've got another related video. Being, like I said, we're going to be on here for about an hour.
And I'm confident we'll achieve that goal. We're going to figure out how to make it at scale, make sure that the robot is safe.
Companion robots are already nearby. What we used to see in films about the future is now gradually becoming our present. This is thanks to people like Elon Musk. The world does not stand still. This is especially true of the world of technology. Over the past 50 years, humanity has stepped far ahead. What used to seem only fiction is already becoming reality. A female humanoid robot with artificial intelligence from Tesla was introduced by Elon Musk.
If you look at the difference between the last time we showed Optimus, and this was a video that was taken.
And these robots will cost only $300. Robots are about to change the world. Entrepreneur Elon Musk, a technological genius and the richest man in the world, is an unusual personality. His main dream is to colonize Mars, and he's getting closer to his dream every year. This person is moving technological progress forward. By popularizing electric cars with the help of his company Tesla, he influenced the environment. Elon Musk thinks very unconventional, and sometimes his ideas seem a little absurd. That is why many experts believe that Musk is simply obliged to release humanoid robots with artificial intelligence from Tesla. Elon Musk says that Tesla cannot do everything he wants, even if such an opinion exists.
And the Optimus team was up all night making this video. The Optimus team has done an incredible job.
However, his last statement sounds rather ironic, given that some people assume that one of the future models of humanoid robots, Elon can make his girlfriend. It is planned that the female version of the robot girl, and the Tesla company thinks that she will be one of the best-selling models from the Tesla company. Is it true that these robots, after they become mass-produced, will cost $300?
Neurologists are stunned.
Has a huge potential to become the largest robotics company. And Elon Musk, said that in fact, his cars are already robots on wheels. And Elon Musk says that Tesla robots will be very popular in the future, and they will be bought more often than cars. The production of robots with artificial intelligence will be a very profitable production.
The motors, controllers, the electronics, and everything you see in the Optimus robot.
And many experts bet that female humanoid robots will be very popular. Recent statements by Elon Musk and his team suggest that a female humanoid robot from Tesla may become more significant than the automotive business. Among all kinds of robots, humanoid ones attract the most attention. Everyone interested in robotics is watching the new Atlas Falls and watching the debate of humanoid robots about what the future holds for humanity. Musk previously told Lex Fridman's podcast that his Tesla bots could one day become companions and employees.
And everything you see in the Optimus robot is a Tesla-designed system. So this is,
he said, over time, he may develop a unique personality. It's not like all robots are the same. He added, this personality can evolve to match the owner, or whatever you want to call it. The Optimus robot will use the same cameras as Tesla's semi-autonomous autopilot driving system. Musk has previously said that the robot will be able to perform basic manual tasks and will be able to carry 45 pounds or lift 150 pounds, or lift 150 pounds. Most of these androids were made a few years ago. However, their distribution does not go beyond the stage and participation in talk shows. Videos with humanoid robots are, of course, good.
We're trying to find driving actuators and whatnot that were off the shelf.
But will we ever wait for their mass production and real presence in our lives? Elon Musk is trying to indicate his company's interest in robotics in order to keep up with competitors. The appeal of auto giants to the topic of humanoid robots is a natural trend, experts say. Elon is a stubborn person, and it is unlikely that he will do anything that breaks out of his strategic line. Musk then said that the robot Optimus and Gynoid, a female robot, are very significant, since in the future, their production may be more profitable than the production of electric vehicles. The future does not stand still, and Elon Musk is working to ensure that it continues to develop relentlessly. What we have seen before only in films, now it will be in reality. On the streets of cities, we will see not only people, but also robot assistants next to them. At the next stage, Tesla bots will serve people as artificial bodies. The development of the Neuralink Mind Reading Project, which also promotes the mask.
That there weren't any. In order to make an effective humanoid robot,
will allow the transfer of human consciousness inside the robot. His iron plastic body is better adapted to space travel than our biological one. The idea is close to the philosophy of transhumanism. As the robot.
Okay. Anybody got comments so far?
Yeah, that's colonizing. That's a part of it. Once you control some people, you know, he's making, like, if you look, when Tesla cars came out, he made it affordable, and you see most of the black people.
In California, where Tesla electric vehicles are manufactured. At the same time, a safety rope was visible behind the prototype. Preventing its fall, Musk and his team intend to apply the advanced artificial intelligence technology at their disposal to train deep neural networks to solve problems, starting with perception, ending with control. Their network team has learned from a wide variety of scenarios to create next generation
generalized real-world AI. That same software is transferable to
automation. Artificial intelligence of robots in the foreseeable future will remain at the level of advanced household appliances and self-driving cars. Although Elon Musk says that his robots are not like that and will be able to develop as a person, Tesla plans to lead the artificial intelligence and robotics industry in the near future. Considering what a genius Elon Musk is, it's not surprising if he already has a robot Tesla humanoid girlfriend. How real do you think such a relationship is? Is there a romantic future for a technological genius and a robot with artificial intelligence? The function of androids as companions serves as one of the main arguments in favor of their appearance having features characteristic of the male or female sex.
Humanoid robot. Just like, humans can obviously walk around with their arms.
The development of robotics in the future of human. Robot interaction. Robotics has come a long way since its inception, and rapid advances in technology and artificial intelligence have led to the development of more complex and human-like robots. These robots, known as humanoid robots, are capable of performing tasks that were once considered the exclusive prerogative of humans. As a result, there is growing interest that these robots may become a normal part of human life in the near future. At Tesla,
Okay.
which CEO Elon Musk officially called a talent search event. Two prototypes of humanoid robots, Optimus, first appeared on stage in Palo Alto. According to the CEO of Tesla, these robots can be sold in millions of units for less than $20,000. Such a statement is even more ambitious when you consider that the cost of humanoid robots currently exceeds $100,000 or more, while the competing brand's current humanoid robots are brainless. Musk stated that Optimus will be the robot with the highest capabilities.
You can say, like, if you have had a generalized,
as it will be controlled by an artificial intelligence system that Tesla is currently perfecting in the self-determination system of its electric vehicles. The first prototype at the presentation, which did not have external panels, could walk around the stage on its feet and swing its arms to the beat of the music. But Musk eventually admitted that at the presentation, the robot walked along the roadway for the first time without protective devices. Behind the scenes, Elon Musk was visibly concerned about whether the robot would be able to walk on its own, and the head of the company was even embarrassed, explaining that he did not want the prototype to fall on his face.
Humanoid robot.
Okay. Anybody got any comments? First of all, I see that, notice how they focusing on women robots. First thing what happened with me was it took me back to the garden. Why the emphasis so much on women robots? Okay, and then like I said before, a question that I'm just posing the question is, where is all this at? It's AI technology, and where is it at in the Revelation? Where is it in the Scripture? In the New Testament, where is it prophesied at?
Shalom. I want to ask a
Okay.
question.
Any comments on that? Anybody got any comments?
Shalom.
Anybody got any questions about anything? Okay.
Shalom.
Okay.
I wanted to ask a question. Which spirit is that, of the that follows Samuel L? Which spirit is that? Because, like you say, that's nothing that's in the Old Testament. In the New Testament. So we know Mike Michael is the protector, and his role is, to protect us and to do harm to those that sin. He can make some things happen. So on the other end of that, which spirit is that Elon Musk is under? Because that is surely a spirit.
Well, when you go back to the understanding of the giants and how they was created, they came about from women, from angelic beings sleeping with women. They got these uh, giants. Well, that spirit that's
Right.
in those giants didn't come from heaven. It was born upon the earth. And so, where the drama come in at is that when you go to Enoch, those 200 angels, when they wanted Enoch to go to the Lord of hosts and to heaven and petition for them to give them the opportunity to redeem themselves for what they had done. But he told Enoch, there's no redemption for what you've done, because you are beings, or you eternal beings. And you didn't went down and slept with women that have, there's or mortal women that have blood in them. And so he says there's no justification for that. And so, he sent the judgment out on them. And so their children, being that they was, they got these characteristics because of the DNA, the angelic side of it, they had these different powers and stuff. So they said that they could live forever. They wanted to live. Their whole objective was to live forever. But the Most High pronounced a judgment on them too. And that he said that when they passed, when they died, that spirit can't sin. They ain't gonna allow that spirit to sin to heaven, because it's a mingled spirit. So based on that information, these spirits bound to the earth. They don't have the body that they acquired from conception, from the angel speaking with the woman. So they running around, these wicked spirits running around trying to find bodies to possess. So being that knowing who Elon Musk is, and knowing the people I was talking about this morning, the transgressors, the wicked folks, they using them to make bodies for them. That's the objective. Example of that is Get Out, the movie Get Out. Did you
Yes.
see that?
Yes, I saw that movie. Yes, I was saying, because that brings us back exactly what you was talking about this morning. There's that wicked that is never going to be good.
Right.
So he is a part of that. And that's what
Right.
I was trying to hit at with the spirit.
Right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So these wicked spirits that's been here, the spirit that's going to encase these robot bodies.
Shalom.
Okay.
Shalom. When you proposed the question about the robot women, it brought to mind that if they're going to make these women, would they, how they want to reproduce, and they're not really reproducing because they can't. So they probably would be taking the children and having them housed and doing something with the real parents, the human parents, and taking the children away. So those robot women will be over the children.
Right. Well, when I look at
thought.
it, right, yes, yeah, I understand. So when I look at it, and you look at that situation, you go back to let's look at it. Let's go to with Judah sons. Judah's friend. Judah, which is I'm talking about, is one of the 12 sons of Jacob. So let's look at what happened with him, and then so we see that. Let me get it. Okay. One minute. Okay. This when Judah went down with the Canaanite woman. Let me find it. Okay. Yeah, chapter 38, starting at verse 1. It says, "And it came to pass at the time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned in unto a certain Adulamite, whose name was Hiram." So if you go back to what I keep showing you, Genesis chapter 10 and verses 11 through 20, them giants. And when it has an IT on the end of it, it's a cut from a cut. You had the Nephilim, which came about from the angel sleeping with a woman, and then that Nephilim would sleep with a woman, and you get these ites. They are smaller. They're giants, but they're not as big as the original, the Nephilim. So these are these descendants from the giants. It says, "And Judah saw their daughter of a certain Canaanite." See that? Whose name was Shu, and he took her and went in unto her, and she conceived and bore a son. So this boy right here is because on his mother's side, he got this angelic characteristics and DNA in him. And he called his name right? That's the first one. And she conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. That's the second one. And she yet again bore a son and called his name Shelah. And he was at Shezez when she bore him. And Judah took a wife for this is the firstborn boy, his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. Judah's firstborn, was wicked. See that? So you shouldn't be surprised, because these boys got first of all, Judah out of pocket. He said, "Don't let your sons marry their daughters," because of the DNA. So he done intermingled his DNA with her. So it's quite naturally you should be waiting on the prophet to tell you that. So he says, and verse 7, Judah's firstborn was wicked. Like I was telling you, transgressor. He's wicked. He was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord slew him. And so check it out. Judah said unto Onan, this is second born. All three of them wicked as hell because of their DNA. And Judah said unto Onan, go in unto thy brother's wife. This is a law in Israel. Go into thy brother's wife and marry her and raise up a seed for thy brother. And Onan knew that she should and Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife, he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give her to his brother. So let's look at that. So what they talk about? As a point when it's time for him to ejaculate, he pulled out and spilled it on the ground. So he don't want no kids. He don't want no kids. That's the spirit that's in them. So go to these even these sex dolls they made before this. Who they making it for? They're making it for these rich men, these famous men. They don't want no kids. They don't want no kids. There ain't no seed involved. That's the whole purpose they created them. They don't want no seed. But it's wicked as hell to have sex and then spill it on the ground. Or from the time that you start the coming together process in with sex or love, whatever you want to call it, you have no intentions on spilling it. You have no intention on having a baby anyway. You're gonna spill it on the ground. That's wicked as hell. That's one of the characteristics that the Most High said that we was gonna pick up when he bring us out amongst these people. We think that's good. We think that's wise to use a condom. But just from this story right here, we see it's wicked as hell. Like we was talking about this morning. It's not. It wasn't the act of coming together of male and female. It's not nothing pleasurable about it. It's about, he said, be fruitful and multiply. But we didn't got hold today concepts thinking that there's a whole lot more involved in it, or relationships destroyed behind that. Thinking that you obligated to pleasure me and all that, when that ain't what is going on. The way he made the human body, you automatically gonna get pleasure out of it, but it's not about pleasure, seeking pleasure. He said, be fruitful and multiply. I gave you the equipment to do it with. I gave the woman the equipment she needs. I gave you the equipment. So he just told you on and wicked as hell. He pulled out and spilled it on the ground. So this the back to I was telling you about it, the Tower of Babel, the imagination of men's mind, wicked men's mind. From they conceive that to the point to it starts as an ideal, a wicked ass ideal in a man's mind, till it can multiply and grow. That's the purpose of judgment. That's why he loved Jacob. Jacob brings judgment on these type of wicked ass ideals. But because of Jacob and fail, no judgment when they come up with these wicked ass ideas, they multiply and prosper. Like the New Testament. The New Testament was garbage when they first created, but it was allowed to keep on it kept on abusing their mind and continuously thinking wicked, and it multiplied to the point where it's at now today.
Shalom. And that young man who wasted the seed, he was killed.
Right. He killed him. Right. He killed him. Exactly. So that was judgment. So we nothing being judged like the homosexual agenda, the LGBT. Look how it didn't grow, because it wasn't judged. Israel is not in the place where they're supposed to be at. They scattered among the nations, so they're not judging these things. These things ain't being judged, and so they multiplying. The wicked ass ideals being able to multiply and progress. So these dolls, these robotic, they have no intention to have no seed. They don't want no seed. You go to Ada and Zilla in the Jasher. It says that they was those fallen angels that showed the women how to that was the origins of abortions. They started abortions way back. It showed the women how to strike. He said, strike the womb, show them what they want. If they do get pregnant, how to strike the womb and cause them not to be able to have a kid, cause the kid to abort. And the reason was they had a nice body, a nice figure. These fallen angels and these giants didn't want certain ones to have no babies. So they go way back. They don't have no intention to have no. They don't got no intention on having no kid. They don't want no seed. That's what these fake dolls coming from, to the point now where they're giving these dolls life through AI. But there ain't no seed gonna come forth. They don't want no seed. Okay. And comments. Okay, no comments. If I have no anything they want to bring up for we at an hour right now.
No, sir. Just that it's just I want to say that it is. I'm glad we are enlightening about a lot of other things that's going on. And when we had the chance about the money back in 1925, Churchill refused to do coinage, and he wanted gold. He wanted to have gold to be the currency at that time.
Right.
Going back to that.
Right.
And then
right.
far as
right.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
So they was setting that up. All that was being said. These people are operating 50 years ahead of us. So why 50 years? Back to 7 times 7. A week of years is a 6 years you till the ground. The 7th year you let it rest. The Most High told us 7 times 7 is 49. The 50th year is a jubilee. So they 50 years. Everything they're doing is biblical based. So they 50 years ahead of us in technology. So if you look at what Churchill done, look at what happened 50 years later, and look at what's happening now.
Yes, sir.
That's the reason they operate the way they operate. Everything they do, they operating is biblical. Like I said, look at 2001. They had a financial crisis. All these financial crises, they benefiting from it, and they stripping the people, the ones that's progressing. Every 7 years, they'll cause a economic disaster and strip the people of their money, bring them back down. So look at the time how they do it. 2001, 7 years later, 2008, 7 years from that, 2015. Every 7 years they're doing this. They operating under the auspices of how the Creator worked and what He gave us is for our law, statutes, and judgment. It's called Shemitahs, but in the scriptures, it's the year of release. 6 years you till the ground, 7 years you allow the rest. That's a week of years. And they doing the same thing in wickedness, just like we got the Tanakh. They created the New Testament to offset the Old Testament. That's how they operate. And it goes back to, like I said, this is who we talking to, the transgressors. That's the transgressors. Their origins, they wicked as hell. That's what they're going to continue to do. And he's giving them a period to, no judgment is coming. But now that time ran out. It's time for we see them in the process of getting judged now. That's why they squirming and all the drama you see them doing. Right. It's like January 6th when they rushed the White House. That wasn't nothing. They didn't burn the White House down twice. The average person don't know that. They didn't rush the White House before and burn it down. Ran up in the Senate chambers and killed 18, 19 black folks back in the 1800s. That was right after the emancipation. They became senators and congressmen, and they came in the White House and drug them out of the White House and killed all of them. But that's not being publicized and put in our history book. Okay, somebody had something to say?
No, sir. I was just was going to agree with you on that you were stating.
Right. So like I said, it's good to know and see. You see a rabbit, it's a rabbit. You see a fox, it's a fox. So a transgressor, you need to know what a transgressor is. So when you see one, you're not sitting there fumbling with it. Most High call them transgressors. They wicked as hell. You can't look at them no other kind of way. And like I said, you can deal with it. Let it roll off like water on a duck back. However, but I'm showing you what the Most High telling you. These are they walking amongst you, and we trying to incorporate them into being humans or whatever when they ain't. That's where the trick come in with the Noah, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. They are all Noah's sons. They ain't all Noah's sons. All you gotta do is look at it. Japheth ain't none of Noah's son. Too much evidence show you that he ain't. We never had a dark brown skinned man with brown eyes have somebody with blonde hair and blue eyes, totally the opposite of him. DNA don't work like that. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Okay? Yeah, so nobody have anything else?
No, sir, other than I'm enjoying the class tonight. I really enjoy it.
Okay.
No, sir. Always learning. Thank you.
Okay.
The Gangster Garden. This garden was
this
developed out of a
computer tripping on me. Yeah, so you gotta take it in consideration. After so long, you can see that these people tell more lies than they do the truth. So you gotta assume that they're telling you a lie rather than believe, or you sit there and believe that they're telling you the truth. They're gonna understand who they are. So with that being said, I want to say shalom to everybody, and I'll see y'all on Tuesday night for our advanced Bible study.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Okay.
Shalom.